When American soldiers began capturing Japanese rifles on the battlefields of the Pacific, many were genuinely surprised by what they found. They expected primitive, poorly constructed weapons from a country they considered technologically backward. Instead, they encountered the Arisaka Type 99, a bolt-action rifle that in many respects technically surpassed their own weapons. The chrome-lined barrel was an innovation Americans would only adopt decades later. Its accuracy was lethal up to 500 yards, and its robust construction allowed it to function perfectly even after weeks buried in the mud of the jungles. But there was something even more unsettling about this discovery. While the Allies struggled with corrosion issues in their rifles under the humid conditions of the Pacific, the Japanese had solved this problem years before the conflict even began. The Type 99 was not just a weapon. It was evidence of an industrial capability and technical innovation that completely contradicted Allied propaganda about Japanese inferiority. Each captured rifle told a different story, that of an enemy who had meticulously prepared for a war that would last for years, equipping their soldiers with weapons superior to what many Allied troops carried. The truth about the Arisaka Type 99 would reveal not only the sophistication of Japanese engineering, but also how racial and cultural prejudices had blinded the Allies to the true capabilities of their enemy. This was not the story of Western technological superiority they expected to write. It was something far more complex and disquieting. In 1939, as Europe plunged into war, the Imperial Japanese High Command made a decision that would fundamentally change the nature of combat in the Pacific. Analyzing the lessons from the Sino-Japanese War, they concluded that their standard Type 38 rifle, chambered in 6.5mm, was inadequate for modern conflicts. The ammunition, though accurate, lacked the necessary stopping power against entrenched enemies and those equipped with improvised body armor. The answer was the development of the Arisaka Type 99, chambered for the 7.58mm Arisaka cartridge, a significantly more powerful round that generated 2,295 feet per second of muzzle velocity, comparable to the American .30-06. But Japanese engineers were not content with merely increasing the caliber. They implemented innovations that were decades ahead of their time. The chrome-lined bore, which drastically reduced corrosion and facilitated cleaning, an adjustable sight system effective up to 2,400 yards, and a modular construction that allowed for field maintenance even in extreme conditions. Colonel Nambu Kijiro, the project's chief architect, had meticulously studied European and American rifles. His conclusion was unsettling by the standards of the time. The West underestimates our capacity for innovation. When we face their soldiers, they will discover that we not only match their technology, we surpass it. This confidence was not unfounded. Initial tests showed that the Type 99 maintained superior accuracy to the American Springfield M1903 at long ranges, while its failure rate was 40% lower than the British Lee Enfield in extreme humidity. The production of the Arisaka Type 99 revealed a Japanese industrial capacity that would shock Allied intelligence analysts years later. Between 1939 and 1945, 9 different arsenals, 7 in mainland Japan and 2 in occupied territories, produced approximately 3.5 million units. The Nagoya arsenal alone produced up to 2,000 rifles per day at its peak, utilizing assembly line techniques that rivaled American factories. But the numbers told only part of the story. What was truly impressive was the consistency of quality. Each rifle underwent 47 different inspection points, and the rejection rate rarely exceeded 2%, a standard many Allied factories could not achieve. The secret lay in the Japanese tradition of artisanal precision applied to mass production. Master armorers with decades of experience oversaw every stage, ensuring that even mass-produced rifles maintained the quality of handcrafted weapons. Sergeant Takeshi Yamamoto, a veteran of production at the Kokura arsenal, would recall decades later, "Every rifle that left our hands carried the Emperor's honor and the life of a Japanese soldier. There was no room for imperfection." This mindset resulted in weapons of exceptional quality. Post-war American tests on captured rifles showed that even after years of heavy use in the Pacific, 89% of the Type 99s examined still maintained accuracy within original specifications. The logistics behind this production were equally impressive. Japan had developed a supply network that stretched from Manchuria to Indonesia, ensuring a constant supply of materials even under increasing naval blockade. The first real test of the Arisaka Type 99 came in December 1941, when Japanese soldiers armed with the new rifles confronted British and American forces in the Philippines and Malaya. The result was devastating for the Allies, but not for the reasons they expected. British field reports from January 1942 described with growing alarm the lethal accuracy of Japanese marksmen at distances they considered impossible for Asian rifles. Captain James Morrison of the 2nd Battalion, Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, wrote in his diary after the Battle of Slim River, "The Japanese are consistently hitting us at 400 to 500 yards with single shots. Our Lee Enfields simply cannot respond with the same precision. It's as if they have sniper rifles while we have muskets." What Morrison didn't know was that he was facing soldiers equipped with Type 99s, fitted with Type 97 telescopic sights, a combination that transformed ordinary soldiers into lethal precision shooters. The ballistic superiority of the Japanese 7.7mm over the British .303 quickly became evident. The Japanese cartridge maintained lethal energy at distances 200 yards greater than the British, and its flatter trajectory allowed for precise shots without the need for complex range compensation. Trained Japanese soldiers could consistently hit human targets at 600 yards, a distance at which many Allied rifles already lost significant accuracy. But perhaps the most disturbing aspect was reliability. While Allied rifles often jammed in tropical humidity, the Type 99 continued to function. Its robust bolt system and chrome-lined barrel resisted the corrosion that rendered other weapons useless in weeks. The capture of the first intact Arisaka Type 99 rifles by the Allies on Guadalcanal in August 1942 marked a moment of unsettling revelation. Lieutenant Colonel Samuel B. Griffith, a Marine intelligence officer, conducted the first systematic tests of these captured weapons. His reports, initially classified as confidential, revealed a reality that contradicted years of propaganda about Japanese technical inferiority. The enemy rifle demonstrates design sophistication and manufacturing quality that exceed our most pessimistic expectations, Griffith wrote. The chrome-lined bore represents an innovation that our own arsenals have yet to implement. Long-range accuracy is consistently superior to our standard Springfield. But what most disturbed American analysts was the discovery that the Japanese had anticipated and solved problems that the Allies still faced. The Type 99 sight system included a foldable anti-aircraft sight, evidence that the Japanese had foreseen the need to engage low-flying aircraft years before it became a common tactical reality. The wire monopod, present on early models, showed an advanced understanding of precision shooting techniques that many Allied armies still considered too specialized for ordinary soldiers. Ballistic tests revealed that the Japanese 7.62 58mm ammunition consistently penetrated Allied steel helmets at distances where the American .30-06 failed. Impact energy at 500 yards was still sufficient to completely incapacitate a soldier, while equivalent Allied ammunition already lost significant stopping power. What American engineers discovered when they completely disassembled the first captured Type 99s left them deeply uncomfortable. Every component revealed a level of sophistication that contradicted decades of prejudices about Asian industrial capability. The bolt mechanism, for example, utilized machining tolerances that rivaled the best American factories, but with a more elegant design that reduced the number of moving parts by 15% compared to the Springfield M19903. The most disturbing discovery came when metallurgists at the Springfield Armory analyzed the steel composition used in the barrel. The Japanese had developed a proprietary alloy that combined exceptional strength with ease of machining, a formula that took Americans 2 years to reproduce. The chrome lining process, initially considered a trick by American technicians, proved to be a genuine innovation that increased barrel life by 300% compared to Allied rifles. Major Robert S. Johnson, chief engineer of the analysis project, admitted in a confidential report, "We have gravely underestimated the enemy's technical capability. This rifle is not just competitive with our weapons. In several aspects, it is superior." The inherent accuracy of the Type 99 was the result of a heavier, stiffer barrel that reduced harmonic vibrations, a concept Americans would only systematically implement in the 1950s. But perhaps the most humbling discovery was the elegant simplicity of the design. Where American rifles used 15 different screws, the Type 99 used only 8. Where the British Lee Enfield required special tools for complete disassembly, the Japanese rifle could be completely stripped down with just a coin. The true extent of the Arisaka Type 99's technical superiority became evident when the Allies began to encounter the weapon's specialized variants. The Type 99 sniper, equipped with a 2.5x Type 97 telescopic sight, transformed ordinary Japanese soldiers into elite marksmen capable of eliminating Allied officers at distances exceeding 800 yards. Field reports from the Pacific consistently documented the loss of platoon and company leaders to single, precise shots that seemed to come from nowhere. Lieutenant William "Bill" Hawkins, a survivor of the Battle of Tarawa, would recall decades later, "You'd hear the sharp crack of the Arisaka, and you knew someone wasn't coming home. It was a different sound from our Garand, sharper, more definitive, and the accuracy was terrifying. They were hitting us at distances we considered safe." The ballistic superiority of the Japanese 7.7mm allowed enemy snipers to effectively engage targets 200 yards beyond the effective range of standard American rifles. But the most unsettling variant was the Type 2 paratrooper, a takedown rifle that maintained full accuracy even after multiple assemblies and disassemblies. American engineers were impressed by the ingenious coupling system that allowed the rifle to be separated into 2 parts, without losing its sight zero. It was evidence of advanced tactical thinking that anticipated operational needs the Allies had not yet considered. The production of these specialized variants, even under intensive bombing of Japanese arsenals, demonstrated a capacity for adaptation and innovation that defied all Allied expectations regarding Japanese industrial resilience. The psychological impact of the Arisaka Type 99 on Allied soldiers was as significant as its technical superiority. Pacific veterans developed a reluctant but genuine respect for the weapon they faced. The distinctive sound of its firing, sharper than the familiar ping of the M1 Garand, became an auditory marker of imminent danger that haunted soldiers even decades after the war. Sergeant Frank Buckley, a veteran of Iwo Jima, described in a 1985 interview, "You learned to recognize the sound of the Arisaka instantly. It was different, more cutting, and when you heard it, you knew you had to move because the next shot would be even more precise." This consistent accuracy created constant psychological tension among Allied troops who knew they were facing an enemy equipped with superior weapons. Medical reports from combat units in the Pacific documented elevated levels of stress specifically related to the fear of the enemy sniper, a condition military psychiatrists directly attributed to the lethal effectiveness of Japanese rifles. Soldiers developed excessive defensive behaviors, avoiding exposure even in tactical situations they would normally consider safe. The discovery that the enemy possessed technically superior weapons also impacted morale more broadly. Censored letters from American soldiers frequently mentioned surprise and concern about the quality of Japanese equipment. "They are not the primitives we were told they were," wrote Corporal James Mitchell to his family in Ohio. "Their weapons are better than ours in many ways." Post-war analysis of captured Arisaka Type 99 rifles revealed an even more disturbing truth for Allied strategists. The Japanese had systematically designed a superior weapon and mass-produced it years before the conflict began. It was not luck or accident, it was meticulous planning and superior technical execution. Declassified reports from the American War Department in 1947 admitted that the enemy demonstrated innovation and production capabilities that significantly exceeded our pre-war intelligence estimates. General Douglas MacArthur, in a confidential memorandum from September 1945, wrote, "The superior quality of Japanese individual armament represents a fundamental failure in our assessment of enemy industrial capabilities. We gravely underestimated not only their technical capacity, but their long-term strategic vision." It was a humbling admission that racial and cultural prejudices had blinded Allied intelligence to the true capabilities of their adversary. Systematic comparative tests conducted by the Aberdeen Proving Ground in 1946 confirmed that the Type 99 surpassed the Springfield M1903 in accuracy, reliability, and durability. In corrosion resistance tests, Japanese rifles maintained full functionality after exposure to conditions that completely rendered equivalent American weapons useless. The lifespan of the chrome-lined barrel was 3 times longer than that of standard Allied rifles, but perhaps the most significant discovery was that the Japanese had anticipated and solved problems that the Allies would only recognize years later. The modular design, corrosion resistance, long-range accuracy, all were features that would become standard in modern military rifles, but which the Japanese had implemented a decade earlier. The legacy of the Arisaka Type 99 extended far beyond the end of World War II, profoundly influencing armament development in the decades that followed. After the Japanese surrender, approximately 126,500 Type 99 rifles were rechambered under American supervision at the Tokyo arsenal to fire 30 Monjo 6 Springfield ammunition, evidencing Allied recognition of the superiority of the Japanese platform. The irony was inescapable. The victors were adapting the weapons of the vanquished because they were technically superior to their own. The Republic of China rechambered thousands of captured Type 99s for the 7.92 57mm Mauser cartridge, using them extensively during the Chinese Civil War. Nationalist veterans consistently reported preferring the rechambered Japanese rifles to the supplied American equipment, citing greater accuracy and reliability. It was a final testament to the exceptional quality of Japanese engineering. But the most profound impact was conceptual. The Type 99 forced a fundamental re-evaluation of Asian technical capabilities that influenced military and industrial policies for decades. The discovery that an Asian country had produced weapons superior to Western ones challenged ingrained prejudices and paved the way for the recognition of growing Asian technological sophistication in the post-war era. Today, in military museums around the world, the Arisaka Type 99 is displayed not just as a weapon of war, but as evidence of an uncomfortable truth that technical superiority knows no racial or cultural boundaries, and that underestimating an adversary based on prejudice can have devastating consequences. The rifle that equipped the Imperial Japanese Infantry remains a permanent reminder that innovation and excellence can emerge from anywhere, challenging expectations and redefining what we consider possible.